Huione Guarantee, inside the 70 billion crypto crime empire. Imagine waking up to discover your life savings gone. Not because of market crashes or bank failures, but because you trusted what looked like a legitimate business. This happened to thousands of victims worldwide, fueling a criminal enterprise that processed more money than the GDP of 100 countries combined. While authorities chased darknet markets, Huione built something far more dangerous, a legitimate-looking ecosystem with government protection. Their mobile apps were available in official app stores until just weeks ago. But here's what makes this story truly alarming. They weren't hiding. By the end of this video, you'll understand how ordinary people were manipulated into funding this empire, the fatal mistake that brought down Huione when law enforcement couldn't, and the warning signs that reveal when you're interacting with their inevitable successors. What's more dangerous than a criminal who hides in shadows? One who operates in broad daylight, with government backing. In 2021, while headlines focused on crypto market swings, Huione Group launched what appeared to be a simple marketplace in Cambodia. 3 years and $70 billion later, we now know it was the largest criminal enterprise in cryptocurrency history, 5 times bigger than all darknet markets combined. But what makes Huione truly terrifying wasn't just its size, it was its strategy. Instead of hiding on the dark web, they built mobile apps, customer service teams, and even sponsored community events. They weren't just processing criminal money, they were laundering their reputation in real time. Huione's criminal innovation wasn't technological, it was organizational. They created what prosecutors call a criminal service provider, with 3 interconnected divisions. First, their money movement operation processed over $24 billion from what's known as pig butchering, where scammers build emotional relationships before taking everything. What made Huione different was their platform that guaranteed conversions between stolen crypto, cash, Chinese payment apps, and untraceable coins, all while taking a precise 10.5% commission that accumulated billions. Second, they built a merchant network that transformed amateur scammers into professionals. Through encrypted Telegram channels, they sold increasingly sophisticated tools, AI voice cloning software to impersonate loved ones, custom phishing websites that bypass security measures, and physical restraint devices used in compounds where human trafficking victims were forced to run scams. Their masterstroke was their infrastructure division. When authorities began freezing accounts in early 2024, Huione didn't retreat. They evolved. They launched their own cryptocurrency called USDH, specifically designed to resist regulatory freezes. Their proprietary blockchain, Huione Chain, created a financial system where they controlled every transaction record. Their encrypted messaging app, ChatMe, became command central for coordinating global scams. What protected this operation for years? One critical connection. The founder's cousin was Cambodia's prime minister, creating a political shield that frustrated international investigators. But even political power has limits, and Huione's downfall reveals the Achilles heel of modern financial crime. The irony of Huione's fall tells us something crucial about cryptocurrency. The same transparency that enabled their victims to send money globally ultimately exposed their entire operation. Every transaction left an immutable trail that investigators could follow, one that couldn't be erased even with political connections. What's concerning isn't that Huione existed. It's that they operated openly for years while processing more illicit funds than the GDP of Cambodia itself. This reveals a fundamental gap in our financial defenses. We're looking for criminals who hide, while the most dangerous ones operate in plain sight. The fall of Huione Guarantee. When empires fall, they rarely collapse all at once. For Huione Guarantee, the end began not with a raid or an arrest, but with a single digital signature. In February 2025, blockchain analysts at Tether made a decision that would trigger a cascade of consequences. With one cryptographic key, they froze $28 million in assets linked to Huione overnight. This wasn't just about the money, it was about the message. For the first time, a major financial provider acknowledged what Huione really was. The freeze created 3 shock waves that rippled through Huione's operation. First, it triggered a crisis of confidence. When users discovered they couldn't withdraw certain funds, panic spread through Telegram channels, leading to a digital bank run that drained millions more from Huione's reserves. Second, it shattered their political protection. After years of shielding the operation, Cambodia's government faced unprecedented international pressure. The breaking point came when Cambodia revoked Huione Pay's banking license, proving that even political connections have limits when global financial systems are at stake. Third and most consequential, blockchain analytics firms labeled over 1,000 Huione wallets, creating a permanent, public record that effectively quarantined them from the legitimate financial system. Every transaction, every victim, became forensic evidence visible to anyone with an internet connection. How to protect yourself? The most valuable thing Huione stole wasn't money. It was trust. Their victims didn't think they were dealing with criminals. They believed they were using legitimate financial services. Three critical vulnerabilities made Huione's operation possible, and each represents a warning sign you can use to protect yourself. First, they exploited the platform paradox, claiming to be neutral intermediaries while actively profiting from criminal activity. Any peer-to-peer marketplace that doesn't verify identities should immediately raise red flags. Second, they operated in regulatory blind spots between countries, using jurisdictional gaps to avoid accountability. Services that emphasize being offshore or registered in countries known for minimal oversight require extra scrutiny. Third, they built technological walls around their operation, custom cryptocurrencies and proprietary systems designed to resist outside intervention. When a financial service insists you use only their unique payment methods, they're often building a cage, not a service. These patterns aren't just history, they're the blueprint being followed right now by dozens of emerging platforms. Protecting yourself requires three practical habits. First, verify before you trust. Legitimate financial services embrace regulation, they don't avoid it. Before using any platform, check for mandatory Know Your Customer procedures. If a service lets you transact without proper identification, they're explicitly choosing not to prevent criminal activity. Second, maintain visibility. Blockchain technology creates unprecedented transparency that works in your favor. Before sending cryptocurrency anywhere, check recipient addresses on public explorers like Etherscan. Services like Chainalysis and Elliptic publicly flag addresses connected to scams, and this information is freely available to anyone who looks. Finally, question convenience. What made Huione so dangerous was how easy they made participation in their ecosystem. Their one-stop approach to financial services wasn't designed for customer benefit. It was created to trap users within their controlled environment. When a platform makes leaving difficult while making joining effortless, that imbalance reveals their true purpose. The conclusion. What Huione teaches us is that in digital finance, the greatest threats don't announce themselves as criminals. They present themselves as solutions. While Huione Guarantee may be gone, the blueprint they created is already being improved upon by the next generation of financial predators. That means your most powerful protection isn't just technology, it's how you think about trust itself. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to see our next investigation. Leave a comment if you want us to show you the techniques that finally tracked Huione's network of over 1,000 crypto wallets. You'll learn how digital breadcrumbs brought down an empire that law enforcement couldn't touch. Or tell us which financial crime case you want us to break down next. Because in the world of financial crime, what you don't know can hurt you. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.